Hey guys, let me set up my other mic here and then we'll get started. See if I can get it to work with that one. Hey Alexander, glad you made it. Hopefully good morning. Hopefully the stream will work a little better for you today.
Yeah, if I get cut out from StreamYard, I'm gonna go watch it on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm keeping a second window open so that I'll be able to see comments there as well as whatever you make in Telegram. So I'm keeping both those windows open so I can kind of watch those comments as well as in here. This is the best place right now to be able to like ask me questions live like this, verbally on video. I'm gonna soon set up another Zoom account. But I'm not a big fan of Zoom entirely. There's some benefits to using it though. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Some people don't want to use their microphone and their camera and give that access to their computer. So Zoom lets you kind of be like a lurker in the background and just have to give a name. Whereas here they require you to use your to give that access. Not everybody in the crypto realm is willing to do that. We become a little more security conscious with our devices when we start dealing with this stuff. Also, a lot of people that are coming into this realm are coming from the cyberpunk ethic and that background where they're already into using Linux and being hyper secure and encrypting everything. So those guys aren't even willing to get a Facebook account. That's why I'm creating the parallel stream with Telegram. That makes it a little more challenging, but I think it's going to add more long-term value for us all too, because as this grows over time, I see that Facebook group with the Telegram group with its live audio chats becoming a way for performers to just announce to their peers that, hey, I'm streaming right now. Here's the link. Here's just I'm playing in my backyard. What do you guys think? And then your peer group can send you some streaming sats too. There's ways in Telegram to actually send Lightning payments as tips directly through the app. There's browser versions. There's one bot that I've encountered that on Telegram actually creates a door charge. Like it automatically has somebody like manning the door where they can only get through into the group if they pay. Like one of the Lightning groups had a 5-cent paywall. So before I could join the group, I had to pay 5 cents worth of Lightning Satoshis within 5 minutes, or my invitation expired. And I wasn't able to get back. Like when I tried to use it again, they didn't warn me, and I had to use my second account to get in. Like, because my phone wasn't turned on. It had my Lightning sats on it, so it took me a few minutes to get it accessible to pay, and I missed that window. But I'm seeing there's a possibility for any creator of any sort of format, whether it's written, video, or audio, to put all of this like live streaming and behind these paywalls. I've got a few different solutions I'm going to be sharing with us all tomorrow. These are currently easier if we use them as a one-time fee or donation when they just get in the door. I'm still working out and trying to find the solutions that let it be just by the second or by the minute, for however long they listen, is like actually streaming per use of the consumption of the content. They're paying for as long as they're consuming it instead of like a recording. So most of what I'm finding right now, it's a lot easier to do it with recordings. So I'm gonna I see Alexander, I saw you drop off there. I got your message on Telegram chat, so hopefully you'll be able to catch a stream with a video on Facebook there. And you might try Float. I'm still figuring out where to get you guys those links. Maybe I can share it up here. Still learning the StreamYard. No, it wants to let me edit it. And how do I get those links to send people to? Okay, it doesn't seem to want to let me do that for Float. I'm going to have to. There's also YouTube. I can share that with you. So here's the YouTube link. So part of the value I see that bringing to you creatives, whether it's a visual with video or just pure audio or combination of both, is how to use all of this software to broadcast simulcast streams to multiple channels all at once. So that when you're performing, you're basically creating your own broadcast network and broadcasting your signal across a half dozen or more platforms. Because I found a version that does it for live streaming through StreamYard for the videos, but there's also a podcast app called Anchor that it allows you to create one podcast that you record, and then they will spread it across 8 different podcast stream pages around the internet. So between these two, you can end up with almost 15 different channels that you're distributing your broadcast out across the entire internet with just like 2 different feeds where you like post your recordings. So this is new processes and tools that are just starting to be integrated by first movers in these realms. I'm still finding and acquiring even more tools. I'm specifically right now needing to upgrade the value I provide you guys over the next few days by adding a tool that lets me share my phone screen, because some of what I'm wanting to do today is going to be difficult to hey Michael, sorry it took me a minute to realize I needed to let you in.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just getting set up too. Taking notes again.
So I've got today focused on liquidity portals, on and off ramps, or how I think of it. So if you think of the crypto realm as a high-speed highway, 4 lanes and more, going at 60 miles an hour, the legacy system is more like the stop signs and the red lights going like 15 to 20 miles an hour underneath the overpass. And the Lightning network is kind of like the high-speed bullet train. It's not just the high occupancy vehicle lane that you can have where you go a little bit faster. It's more like a high-speed bullet train that you can only access if you're already on the highway. But there's a few direct access ramps that go straight from the legacy realm down at the ground level that are going slow with stop signs everywhere and traffic slowing you down and making you wait for your money, and have all these security guards watching your every move. That's down there's a couple sort of newly formed like stations that you can access and go right from moving 15 miles an hour to moving at the speed of light with your Lightning, because like that's how fast Lightning works. There's these couple of ramps right now because they're some of the on ramps directly into the network from your US dollar banking system. There's only a couple of them. They're first movers. They're kind of congested with their access to everybody, like they're having too many people access. That's why Michael was saying you need an invite code for Fold is one of the spending issues. As far as Strike, I understand we can just buy our Strike card for, but I think I need to go to these sites because I'm getting mixed up because I thought you could just buy your Fold card. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my my screen here and share with you guys. Because I've got just I've organized these links here that I'm going to go from there into, maybe that's how I should do it. I'm going to open up a window and just go right to these websites. So what I do is I use my toolbox as a way to here, access all of my links. So I keep a window open with all of my 200 links to my Bitcoin banking toolbox, and then I can use that whenever I need it to access and all these tools in an organized manner. My dad was an auto body man. He repaired and painted cars, and if he couldn't find his tools and I cost him 15 minutes looking for them, I got my ass chewed out. That was productive time that he was missing out on because he couldn't access what he needed because I didn't put it back where it was so he could find it later. That's kind of what I'm using this toolbox for. It's just an easily organized tool, like collection of drawers that I can reach into and find all these solutions. I've kind of like pulled some of those out to put into this slide deck to share with you guys. Let's see, I stay focused on what I'm doing. Window. And first, I'm going to take us to Strike because that's the one I'm actually wanting to buy right now and get one of these. And actually, I think this is the one. Copy. Paste and go. And share. All right. Why is it not opening? So more than one of these apps stream as this whole challenge because more than one of these apps are actively in beta test format right now, and you have to request access to them. There's a risk in them figure this stuff out. There's actual hurdles with specific devices because there's so many platforms and so many devices we're all trying to use that this becomes a real challenge. I've already got it downloaded. Android, Chrome, Web Store. Let's try this one. I've already on my phone. So one of the things that I'm recognizing is required to make streaming money possible is that we have to not only be able to protect it, but once we need to buy it, and then we need to be able to spend it once we've earned and bought some. So today's focus is more on these on-ramps. We're going from US dollars directly into crypto, either as Bitcoin or as Lightning. Once you're there, you can move it between Lightning and Bitcoin and into any and all of the other coins of the realm. Bitcoin has become the effective denominator of value. So like whenever any dissimilar value is being transacted and you're trying to add and subtract fractions, you have to have a common denominator. All these altcoins and political currencies all are dissimilar fractions. And what's happening is Bitcoin is becoming the common denominator to transfer and exchange value between all of the political currencies and the cryptocurrencies. That's part of why this infrastructure is next to impossible for
I think doing the download is causing your stream to break up. If you were coming through clear, and now, at least for me, it's kind of like your sound's sort of breaking up. Oh no, we lost him. Well, hey, I guess I'm hosting the show. Yeah, what I found so far, I was looking around the Fold site, and it looked like, from what I said, it looked like you could download it, but and I didn't get that far. I didn't do that, but it said something about you had to find an invite only, beta mode or something. So that'll be something for us to figure out, is how to get on. It's not like there was like a wait list. But they were acting like, I mean, the thing is live through the Fold one, that, once you download it, you can use it right away to basically like load and transact with Lightning Bitcoin or Lightning Network. And then you could order like a card from them. I got you back?
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think that download, once you started downloading, you kind of started to cut in.
Yeah, I'm glad the feed didn't interrupt, and you guys like held the broadcast here for a few minutes. I missed everything you said though, but it did succeed in adding Strike to Brave, which is
Nice.
pretty cool. I didn't realize it was going to add it to my browser.
Nice.
That was an option for the desktop version. I found there's another Lightning app called Joule, Joule. That I've included it in the slide deck that I'll share with everybody that kind of organizes the links for today. I'm going to go ahead and try to share my screen so we can look at how Brave works with Strike.
Just gonna grab some water.
All right, so where did it go? Extensions, it was just up here. Too many of them. I just saw it. Strike. I want to pin that one. There we go. Now we can see Strike all the time. I just pinned the Strike app. I've got too many of these up here. I got to take these off. I really should delete them. Old. I don't need any of these anymore. The Steam blockchain pretty much failed for anybody that was paying attention. The proof of stake system for the whole Steam blockchain got co-opted and taken over. So it pretty much ruins Steam for anybody that was paying attention and understands why immutability of the ledger matters. Let's see how Strike works. Hello. What you gonna do? All right, I'm just going to have to go to this. There it is. Are you seeing that pop-up window? It doesn't look like it's showing up on the screen. It's just giving me an option with a button to get started with Strike. So it doesn't look like any of this is showing up on the stream. It's just asking for an email address after that. And technically, I should use
share window instead of share screen or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that'll work. It's, I think you're right. I'll stop sharing and maybe share the whole screen.
You might have to just quick share screen. I think I've seen that on Skype or something back in the day.
Yeah, I had it trying to share the window, but I'll just have it share everything. So you guys, okay. I got to go to my email. Let's see. Where did I send that? All right, that's going to slow things down a little bit. So one of the practices that I can share with you guys, that's a privacy protocol that helps me keep my email addresses more private, as well as my crypto operations. So one of the concerns with all of this is the exposure of your IP address. This can tag your near exact physical location, and can be used to track down your personal identity through your internet provider if they know what they're doing. So obscuring your IP address through using a VPN becomes like a standard operation for anybody in the crypto realm almost at all times. Sometimes it slows things down. So right now I don't have it on for my whole device for this stream, but what I do to segregate and make certain that I don't forget and accidentally access one of these websites without VPN that I want to always access through VPN, I only access these sites through my Opera browser. So I have the Opera browser set to only through the VPN setting. It has a free, not standard, it doesn't, you have to go turn on because it's not a default setting, but you go turn on the VPN setting, and then any of the pages you access through that browser are protected by the VPN service. And just to mix things up for that one, I usually keep it, because I'm in the US and I'm trying to obscure where I am in the world. I usually make it like Asia or European sort of addresses. Some websites don't allow US persons or even US computers to access their sites. A lot of international crypto solutions and exchanges I found don't want to deal with any of the US banked persons, whether a business or an individual. It's just not worth dealing with this banking industry, all the paperwork and compliance, liability and responsibility that comes with dealing with even one US person. So they basically just don't want any US citizens to play on their playground. The monkey on our back is the US regulatory regime and financial monopoly has been abusing the privilege they've been given as the resiliency of the world. Because we've been abusing this power, a lot of the people don't want to let us play on their playground anymore. So we have to use these VPN services to even be able to access their websites. And if they require any form of identification, we get locked out entirely. More than a half dozen times I found these great solutions that I couldn't wait to test out, try, and I found out that I'm not allowed to play on their playground because I have a bully nanny looking over my ear none of the other deal with. That's basically how the U.S. government treats us. One of my favorite international trading exchanges was BitMEX, that is now requiring U.S. government's trying to sue them, and they're protecting themselves with a KYC now, and they're in order to more effectively enforce their restriction on U.S. citizens, because when KYC documentation, anyone was allowed to play on their playground, we could all risk winning and losing everything, and we got to reap the rewards or losses ourselves like full-grown adults. But because the U.S. nanny state doesn't allow non-accredited investors, they can't prove over $200,000 a year in income or $1 million in assets, we're not allowed to play in the investment game and try to make money with money like those with money do. We're supposed to stay in the muck, trading our time for money, while those that are making money out of thin air use that free money to make even more money and just leave us in the dust. So this is really our only way out of all of that is through the crypto realm and the crypto trading solutions, and to bypass ourselves as individuals, the entire U.S. banking system, just as the rest of the world is starting to do. So I think I finally got this. You guys can see my screens. I'll go back to where I was. Where was Strike? There it is. Oh, shit. I'll print it in the. I copy paste everything by accident. I don't ever deal with my memory anymore. There it is. 932. Oh, please. I missed one, didn't I? This is why human error is the easiest thing to have mess up your crypto operations. That's why we try to eliminate these variables every way we can. It only gets harder as we get older and our eyesight starts to fail. Mistakes become even more likely. Okay, one. What the hell? English alphabet 0 to 9 and an underscore. It's probably not long enough. A lot of times they won't let you use short names. I like to use an underscore. How about now? Oh, come on. English alphabet letters, digits, and underscore. Maybe they don't like the capital. Oh, I know. I mistyped. So right now, Strike is not accessible outside the US. They're working on Strike Global. I'm in line for that. So let's see, which number do I want to give? This is going to be connected with my name. So I'm not going to give the phone number that's connected with my name. I'm going to give the Google number that is already general public knowledge and to my name. So I don't care if you guys see it. It's already used for registration. Oh, I guess I already used it. What do I do now? How do I connect the account that I already have? Well, that's interesting. I guess I can use another number. All right, this is my personal cell number, so I'm not going to share this on the screen to try to avoid doxing myself. Okay, Michael, can you confirm you do not see my screen right now?
Yep, it's just you and me. And a bunch
Okay, thank you.
Blackness, darkness.
Yeah, I found I've been giving this Google number out for almost 20 years now, and it allows me to block all of the automated calls that I get. So I don't even have a vehicle title to my name, and almost half of the calls I get are for car insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm already getting all these spam calls. If they don't leave a message and I don't know the number, I don't ever answer it. So I'm not concerned about anybody getting this number. That number anyway. Not many bad actors are going to try to come after me anyway, because they'll find out pretty quick if they do their research. I live my life as a paper pauper, so I don't have any assets for people to steal from me because I don't keep them in bank accounts, and I don't title assets in my personal name. So there's anybody that tries to look up my name, it's like all they find is debt. You get that from. I've actually found it interesting. Even last night, I was falling asleep thinking about how I'm really tempted right now to sell every physical possession I have and just turn it all into Bitcoin and just go backpack lifestyle again, like I did in my 20s, and just like put everything into crypto that can't be stolen from me, that doesn't weigh me down, that sets me free to be fully mobile. Like all these possessions and tools, just like I lived most of my 20s in Austin off a bicycle, and I discovered that like that lifestyle was empowering, because everywhere I got with all of my stuff, everywhere I went, every single day came from my own will and my own strength and chi, and I got stronger because of it. I didn't get weaker like everybody else sitting around in their ass driving an automated car, sitting at the red lights and the air conditioning. Mm-hmm. But I found I couldn't carry tools and I had a limited range. And like when I became a massage therapist, like I can't carry a massage table on back of my bicycle. I managed to put a massage chair in the back of a motorcycle, but construction tools don't work on a trailer behind a bike. They're too heavy. I can't go far enough. And I found that like limiting myself in my range it limited my earning and my dating potential. It's like if there are a lot of women who won't date you without a car. So it's like, this is like I got used to all this in my 20s, and I'm kind of tempted to go back to not owning anything and not just renting what I need when I need it. So this whole Agenda 2030 thing, where they tell us that we're not going to own anything and we're going to be happy about it, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, because I'm just going to control a whole bunch of Satoshis. I'm not going to own a damn thing. Things wear out. They deteriorate. They lose value over time. They have holding and maintenance costs. They can be stolen from me. I have to keep them secure when I'm not using them. So why not just rent it and use it when I need it and not have to deal with all those costs? And that goes from everything from my tools to my vehicles to my house. I wouldn't tie up if I had if somebody gave me a Lamborghini right now and I had a Lambo, I would immediately cash it out for whatever I could get and turn it into Bitcoin. Like I would, and then if I wanted to go race drive a Lamborghini, I'd just go rent one at a track for a day and spend $500 if I want to be indulgent, like wasteful. Memories are worth it, so it's like it might be fun to go rent a Lambo and a Ferrari and go race some friends around the F1 track outside of Austin. I could see that, but like owning a Lambo, like putting $100,000 worth of Bitcoin into something that like was stuck in traffic and couldn't turn at the red lights, like only an idiot's going to do that. Only naive millennials that have never like owned a sports car would want to consider that and have no investment experience whatsoever. It's like you lose like 20% as soon as you drive it off the lot. Like, I just burned like a third of a Bitcoin. Yay. Aren't I special? I get to impress all the girls with my car now. You can just lease. That's what like smart money does. They just lease a Lamborghini. You don't want to buy a Lamborghini. I found out a hard way when I had my trust fund money that I burned, by the time I dealt like 12 months of ownership of this sports car, by the time I paid for insurance and maintenance, I didn't even track my gas costs. It ended up costing me $1,000 a month for 12 months to own this car. If I'd known I was going to spend $1,000 a month, I could have leased a brand new state-of-the-art $60,000 sports car instead of like owning my own little $12,000 sports car. It literally like ended up costing me almost like the entire purchase price of the vehicle to own it for a year, because I was an 18-year-old driving a sports car. I ended up with some like maintenance costs, and like it literally cost me $3,000 a year to get full coverage. So Strike just asked for that code for my phone to verify my phone number. Now it's asking for my name. I think I need to get a drink here. So we have to give our name for this because it's interacting with the banking industry. And banking industry has to be compliant. They're subject to regulations. I'm going to have to get a drink. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no sweat.
So there are some options that I have that I can share and include, since I see we have someone here, SATA, maybe is how that's pronounced, that's more international. I do have a couple of these solutions that I've encountered that at least were more Bitcoin specific, that are available to people outside the US that I'd found that I wanted to use but couldn't. You guys will be able to. I'll share some of those like international specific solutions in the slide deck that I can share with everybody in the Telegram group. So if you're not in the Telegram group, then you should maybe join us. I'll go ahead and pull up that ad and include it in the stream here, just since you seem to have made your way here, but may not be in the Telegram. So here's in the chat how you join us on our Telegram group. So this Telegram group is where okay, good. Looks like it's posting it across all the different platforms. That's cool. So Telegram's going to be an ongoing value for all of us that are using these tools to connect with one another, share our trials and tribulations, our wins and our losses with one another. It's a place to go to share tools you found to get feedback from other people who maybe would like to learn how to use them too, and find out if anybody has any problems they found with it. Any aspects of it that they've been able to make work for themselves. You can kind of like get that feedback in this group. I'm going to, in a couple of weeks, probably make it a private group that is only available for people that buy the VIP access, because I'm going to be sharing in this Telegram group links and documents that are the accumulation of many thousands of hours of research that I've put together. And for this initial challenge, I'm sharing it for free with everybody, but in the next couple of weeks, it's only going to be available for people that pay, because I've put a lot of time into all this, and if they want to do it themselves, they can start their DIY research more from scratch. If they don't value what I've put together, then they don't need to necessarily join us long term. So that I'm going to have a free Telegram group for people that don't have any money and have more time and attention to put into their own research. Other people are going to have more money than attention. So that's really what I found this is all about. It's an attention economy we're moving into, and those of us that can earn and hold other people's attention can get rewarded with Lightning Satoshis flowing back to us for that. I'm glad to help you with being new in the crypto realm. I'll share, and I am sharing a lot of resources for you to go study with experts that I've been learning from, because I don't want you to take my word for anything, but because I've spent a couple thousand hours a year for the last few years focusing on this stuff, I can speed up your journey and your education a lot and direct you to these experts in the realm who you can start to believe when you encounter the same things coming from 3 or 4 of them as well as myself. Then you can maybe start to be confident in taking their advice. Andreas Antonopoulos is one of my favorites. It's a tough name to spell, so he just goes by A. Antonop almost everywhere, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Patreon. He's put out hundreds and hundreds of videos, all for free, works entirely on donations. So I'm having to put in my real name right now for Strike, because they're going to be having to interact with the banking system. They're going to need some identification. I need to make sure the name I give them is going to match my documents, because this is maybe even going to end up impossible for me, because I sometimes can't prove physical location. I don't have a physical address or any utilities, because I don't live on a street. That may or may not come up here. Sometimes they don't require a utility bill, other times they do. So after giving them my name, giving them my birthday, because this is pretty much everything that any PayPal, Venmo, Square, Cash App, NetSpend, Green Dot, every one of these companies expect all this information. They need it for one reason and one reason alone, and that's because they're subject to fraud. Every time we make a purchase, we have to give all the information out that's necessary to withdraw from our accounts. With Bitcoin, all we do is give the information out for somebody to send. It's not a pool, like it's they can't withdraw more than we give them, and all we do is give them information to send the money to, and they take action to send it to us. They don't give us the information to withdraw from their accounts when we're buying with Bitcoin. So what happens when we have to hand over our zip code, our expiration date, all of our numbers off of our cards, is that data then enables them to make charges they're not authorized to. And the only way they can verify the identity of whoever was authorized is to track and trace you and authenticate your identity with your photo ID and your physical address, because they verify your IP address. What most people don't realize when they make a purchase with a regular card is how much data is collected on that purchase at the time of purchase, in order to protect against these fraud risks that are built into the legacy system that do not exist in the crypto realm. So whenever I had to make a payment with a debit card, send a Strike invoice or a Stripe invoice to somebody, and they paid me from Europe, they managed to pay me in US dollars with a Stripe invoice. I not only had to wait and pay $30 to get $1,000 payment, and had to wait 5 to 7 days. I ended up, when I got the payment, I found out the block they were on. I got their exact IP address. I was able to tell they were on an Apple device with a Safari browser, and had all of this detail about where they were, what device they were on, what browser they were using, and their physical location, as well as their identity, just so that I could receive a payment from them. Like crypto eliminates all of this, and that's why this legacy system is being blockbustered. It's going the way of VHS. They don't realize it yet. They're thinking they can enforce this all on us. I literally encountered, when I was trying to find an international banking partner, that had, I kid you not, they had a $1,500 application fee. They had a negative 28% interest rate. So that I had to pay $1,500 non-refundable application fee to then pay them to hold my money, with a $10,000 minimum balance and $150 a month fee processing on my payment. So if I wasn't running enough payments to pay $150 in fees, they were going to charge me up to $150 a month to use their fucking account. And I'm like, who's signing up for this? like are they just ignorant or stupid or wasteful? Like, who's gonna burn their money like this? Like, I just boggles the mind that they think they can do this and get away with it, and people are going to continue to buy into this when there are other options like this. It's so much. That's why basically like this strike solution is basically taking on like Western Union and Venmo and making both of them obsolete. So it's like, and it's no harder than signing up for your Venmo or your PayPal account like I'm doing right now. I just need to remember which address I have on my ID. Because again, I do not comply just because they say so. I do not give a fuck. And I do not keep where I lay my head on my fucking ID. I actually got doxxed by my ex-wife because she went and accurately changed my mailing address with the post office from one apartment to another apartment without asking me. I kid you not, people. I literally broke up with her and moved out a month fucking later. She burned that location for me, and I was no longer comfortable or willing to live with her because she told the whole fucking world where I lay my head. I'm an alley cat. I live on the fucking streets. The only protection I have is obscurity. Secrecy is my only self-defense against an army of centralists trying to enslave all of us. Like there are so many risks with like, letting your physical location be known. Everybody that used their actual address to have their Trezor and Ledger shipped to them had 2 years worth of records from Trezor, from Ledger acquired by a hacker, sold on the dark net, and immediately people who had bought a Ledger had phone calls telling them that I know where you live, give me some of your crypto. Like they literally were having their children's lives threatened because they had their hardware wallet sent to their own fucking address. You do not do this, people. Please, this is important. This record exists for all time when you do this online. What happens on the internet stays on the internet and is going to be there for people 10 years from now. They're going to be able to go back and find out that you ordered a $500 hardware wallet to your address when Bitcoin was 1/10 of what it is. When Bitcoin's $500,000, there's going to be a lot of incentive for people to go back and figure out who got into Bitcoin when it was at $50 million. And they're going to be basically looking at this as a honeypot of data that they can use to target specifically people who got in early, who very likely have gains that they can steal and ransom from you. This is part of why we need to exit and opt out of this legacy system so that we don't have to place our families at risk every time we want to make a purchase. This is a broken system, and we need to start trying to create these on and off ramps for ourselves and our community, because once we've created this for ourselves, then our entire network can funnel assets into and out of our business entities if properly set up. We can create a private network where we can provide the proxy interfacing entity that takes the legacy capital, transfers it into the crypto capital, and distributes that amongst the local community, and vice versa. When the local community needs to interact with the legacy banking realm, we could provide that portal back as the off-ramp from the crypto realm. Let me try to type in my ID right now and get this set up so that I might be able to actually buy some, which I've never done before. Like I literally in 5 years in crypto, I've not like once, like since my first exchange account, like so many novice newbies in the realm, I followed the general momentum of the herd and joined Coinbase, and very quickly never put more than $100 on it. I saw it as what it was, as a bank, a banking version, a crypto version of a bank. It's basically what I refer to as horse and buggy thinking. Applied to internal combustion engine capability. We no longer need any of that. Sorry, I got distracted. Somebody is in the chat looking for help in Turkey. Banned to trade with crypto in Turkey lately. Okay, so let me explain to you how this works. So the way crypto works is that you need no permission. The problem is there are liquidity challenges. So what governments can do is they can block these portals that I've been talking about and make it difficult for us to on and off ramp. Once you're in the crypto realm, there's not a goddamn thing they can do about it. They can keep you from coming back into the legacy realm by punishing the vendors. They can make it hard for you to acquire it, but by not allowing anyone to sell it over the counter publicly. All this does is increase the value of it and add a premium for the having to go around the legacy systems. The same way that in the United States, marijuana was artificially inflated when everybody had those liabilities. It didn't stop it in the least. It was a weed that grew everywhere. They confiscated more naturally grown weed than purposefully grown weed and cultivated for sale. Like there's more growing wild than humans were. They couldn't stop that. They can't stop marijuana. I mean, they can't stop crypto. The phrase that's used is that any government can lock its self and its citizens out of the crypto. Like you can keep your country out of Bitcoin, but you can't keep Bitcoin out of your country. The meme that I've seen was the perfect visual representation I've seen of it. There's somebody in knee-high water with floodwaters in front of their house, and they have a metal fence that they're standing on one side of with a bucket, and they're bucketing the water over the fence. It's coming right through the bottom of the fence. This is the effectiveness of any government that tries to ban Bitcoin. All they can do is create stagnation in that technology with their own country and keep the law-abiding citizens from being able to profit from all of these capabilities that the rest of the world are enjoying. So sure, if you want to be kept in a cave and you want to miss out on all of the latest and greatest evolutions happening worldwide in financial systems and your ability to interact with all of your peers worldwide, sure, you can comply and miss out and look up and wonder what happened when all of a sudden you don't have any choice but to be a slave. Getting in and out tends to be, and I will share in my slide deck here with you. SATA, I'm guessing is maybe SETA is how you pronounce your name. So there are a number of peer-to-peer solutions that we use so that this cannot be stopped. So one of the main solutions that I recommend highly is called Bit Refills. So through Bit Refill, you can use Bitcoin or Lightning. So one of these Lightning apps I'm sharing with everybody has it built into it a link directly to Bit Refill, where you can buy any big box store, any prepaid card, any minutes for your prepaid cell phones, you can buy directly from the app with your Lightning Satoshis. So like you want to go spend $200 at Home Depot or Target or Walmart, you can buy $200 worth of it directly into a prepaid credit card store credit that you have purchased with your Lightning Sats. I'm also sharing another solution. It's called BISC and Purse.io are the Bitcoin specific solutions. So Bit Refill seems to be right now one of the only ones that has a spending off ramp that facilitates buying those USD credits or Lira credits. I'm not sure how it would all work in Turkey. I'm assuming you guys must have similar sort of big box stores, but you probably can at least spend it through Amazon. And this is a way to buy it as well as sell it. So through Purse.io, it's basically a peer-to-peer escrow market where you escrow your Bitcoin, enough Bitcoin to make a purchase on Amazon. somebody in the peer-to-peer market goes and buys whatever you wanted off of Amazon with their USD credit, their Amazon credit card. They have that shipped to you that they purchased. And when that purchase receipt is verified and it's been made, then the escrow releases the Bitcoin to them. You can end up earning as much as, like, the going rate tends to be 15%. So you can, on a daily basis, like, make any purchase for your daily needs, and you're going to get like an extra 15% discount for making this purchase through your Bitcoin. Because on the other side of it, when you want to acquire your Bitcoin, you can make this purchase for somebody, but if you're going to have to make $100 purchase in order to get like $85 worth of Bitcoin. Or you're going to have to buy something worth $115 to get $100 worth of Bitcoin. Because this is what the market has decided. It's kind of like Craigslist. So it's like there's this, there are these offers that everybody makes, and it's a pool that you can decide what offer works for you and which person you want to work with. It's a reputation network. Bisq is another one that works in the same way. So there's Purse, and Bisq is BISQ. And if you join us on Telegram, I'm sharing all of these links there, as well as on Facebook. I'm not even certain how I'd pull up the Facebook group. So I'm really glad to share this information with you all the way over there in Turkey. I hate any organized, centralized regime that's cracking down on its citizens anywhere, and I'm always glad to provide tools for the revolutionaries to fight back. This is why I call myself Obi-Wan Kenobi, because I feel like I'm trying to bring a message of hope to those in active rebellion against the centralized empire that's trying to create a one world global government system, and our only way to defeat them is to effectively decentralize. You're welcome. I appreciate you coming here and joining the feed and giving me the positive feedback. Okay, I gotta go back to my ID here where I was at with Strike. Let me try to stay on this task. I was glad to divert to help you there and explain some of how these tools can work for all of us. I'm actively hoping to soon get to a place where I'll have to probably spend $10,000 or more just to create an international entity so that I can interact with a lot of these tools that the rest of the world gets to. But because I have this monkey on my back, I think of it as like a financial venereal disease. Like being a U.S. citizen is kind of like having financial herpes. The rest of the world doesn't want to do intercourse with us anymore. I can't blame them in the least. I found it hilarious. That's some of that concept and that understanding of like financial intercourse I got from one of my asset protection lawyers. He pointed out that transacting trust to trust forms a prophylactic protection against litigation, because each of us has our own unique financial history with unknown liabilities that may follow us around. And this could be like past bankruptcies, business partners, lawsuits from car accidents, lawsuits from ex-wives, just like back IRS payments. So anytime you do business with an individual that has this personal financial history, you end up potentially having that affect your contracts with them. So if you create a fresh, brand new baby trust, it doesn't have any financial history and liabilities, and your trust interacts with their trust, the way I've learned to think of it is it's kind of like double bagging it with your condom. It's like you both have your prophylactics in place, and it's next to impossible for anybody to. Okay, so now they even asked for my tax ID. Like I said, this is why I've never done this. But I've been needing to do this anyway because I may want to just buy some sats. Okay, clicker ID card. Let's see. I've got that saved. And this is someplace for people to use their password manager. So when you have behind your encrypted firewall, your password manager saving notes can also save like photocopies, a picture of the front and the back of your driver's license, like I'm having to pull up right now so that I can join Strike. So I had to give him the address off of my ID. I had to give him my actual name. I had to give him a phone number that had not been used with them previously. And now I had to give him my social security number. And now I have to give him a copy of my driver's license. And this is why so many people find this so absurd, having to do this with all these third-party providers, just because their system is broken and inherently subject to fraud. Is they're built on 1950s technology. Do not want to update because it doesn't serve them to update to a system that they cannot control the spigot. If they cannot shut off and slow down and steal a piece and siphon off some of the wealth as it flows through, they're not interested. This is part of why the whole centralized system is so broken, because it creates these throttle points, these bottlenecks where all of the energy going through the entire system gets bottlenecked and siphoned off and slowed down and shrunk by all of the intermediaries siphoning off their piece. Oop, I didn't want to do that. Sorry, Michael, I removed you. I wanted to make sure you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still listening in. I just moved rooms for a bit.
No worries. I thought maybe you'd lost the stream and it tried to come back. I was trying to add you and it accidentally cut you off. No worries. Glad you're still here. I appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Yeah.
Did you have fun in the? Did you make it to the treetops to hang out and contemplate last night?
No, we got postponed. Doing I'm a tree pruner, so the work got pushed till tomorrow.
I got you. I almost took one of those jobs. It becomes a really unique skill, but it's also kind of like risking life and limb to earn your daily bread every day in some ways.
Yep.
I've done that working on many a roof. It's like construction is like, especially for like independent contractors, like it's more dangerous than working as a cop. Like more people die in construction than die as police, as much as they talk about how dangerous that gig is.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally in the top 3.
Yeah, police officer doesn't usually make the top 10 list. It's commercial fishermen, loggers. Soon after that is roofers, construction generally. Landscapers make the list.
I've had more than a few friends that did some of the Alaska fishing for a couple seasons, or gone off to the oil rigs. That sort of work too. It pays you a lot, but that's hazard pay you're getting.
yeah, they're you know what job is even more deaths per 1,000 or 10,000 than cops is being a bartender. More people die doing that than do being police officers. I was interested in it because I looked this up, and my chances of as a tree worker of dying are higher than COVID.
Yeah, I find it entertaining that the nanny state wants to try to protect me from risk. I was like, man, I never feel more alive than when I risk my life. Like all my favorite activities end up risking life and limb. Right, downhill mountain biking, downhill skiing, motorcycling, everything I love to do. I find it absurd that they think that I need them to look over my shoulder or want them to. So I found it actually really insightful. One of my other asset protection guides pointed out that we tend to think of the U.S. government as a corporation,
Mm-hmm.
but trusts also act like corporations, and the distinction that we is that beneficiaries don't have the same rights shareholders do, and they treat us as citizens as like the children that the trustees are taking care of assets for, and we're not responsible adults. So the trustees get to make all the decisions, and we don't have the same rights, and we end up losing a lot of those rights when we accept the beneficial privileges that come with participating with these trustees.
Right.
I find it really interesting how so much of this comes down to trust. Like they talk about Bitcoin as a trustless realm. And what I found an important distinction that we need to make is that trustless doesn't mean zero trust. It means that we can trust less. And it means we have a choice as to who to trust. It's like right now we're forced to trust completely these third-party intermediaries, and we only have a limited selection of them. And I'm not finding my ID anywhere. I just saw it recently. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, the trick with the U.S. person too is there's supposed to be trustees to take care of everything, and yet they trick people have to do their own taxes, file their own paperwork, and do all the responsibilities that a trustee would have, except they don't get the actual knowledge of what that role could truly entail if someone were to truly operate as a trustee on behalf of their person. Or but yeah.
I find it interesting too that they don't there's no responsibility to tell us that when we turn 18 that we can, if we want to, take over control of the trust. Right. There's no obligation on their part to tell us that we can take their job.
Yep. They just say, hey, well, you never got in touch, so we just kind of assumed that you didn't care.
Yeah, I found it to be by far one of the most important of the four agreements in the four agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I found it interesting for years. It was the one of the four agreements that I kept forgetting is don't make assumptions. It's so hard not to make assumptions. We don't even see all the assumptions we make. It takes an actively disciplined mind to even notice the assumptions and presumptions you make, and base all of your opinions in your assumed facts. Or man, that's funny. I'm not able to find my driver's license anywhere.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's true. It's like this logical nature of our mind to try to figure out the next parts of whatever equation we're looking at. Is one way to look at it anyway, and get to that assumption. And a lot of times it's incorrect, but we act as if it is correct. And then, we end up confusing ourselves overthinking it, I think sometimes.
I think too, it's, I've actually seen a lot of what I find really interesting actually is being applied on on a massive scale and then on an individual scale. There's this one of my favorite stories series. It's like this 12-book series written by Terry Goodkind, maybe. It's the Sword of Truth series, based on the Seeker of Truth is the main character. And the first book is called The Wizard's First Rule. And this wizard's rule is being applied to ensorcel the whole world right now. Everybody's been had this rule used against them because it applies so perfectly to what's happening right now. Because the rule is that people are stupid. And they will believe any lie, no matter how outrageous, because they're afraid it's true or they wish it to be true. And there's so many aspects of this wizard's rule that I see being applied in the world right now, where people are believing all these lies because they want it to be true, but or because they're afraid it's true. And people aren't like used to like actually diving in and doing their own due diligence and doing their own research and thinking critically for themselves, because they've been trained their entire lifetimes to allow others to be the expert and make these decisions that they don't feel qualified to make. So they defer the responsibility to the teacher, the professor, the lawyer, the CPA. And it's really hard to try to like learn how to make these decisions for ourselves. And it's all being used against everyone. Even right now, my property owner has somebody that's manipulating him because they're using a lie that he wishes would be true.
Wow.
And the scammer online is totally using his good intentions and his good heart and his faith in people as a weapon against him. And I see the same thing being happened in like microcosm and macrocosm right now on so many levels. It's like it's really important we learn to understand what due diligence looks like, what it means, how to do it. It's something I actually, only because of my activities in the crypto realm, I encountered like somebody used the acronym just DD once, and I was so new to the realm. I was like, "What's DD?" I'm like, "What? I have no idea. What the fuck's DD?" And he's like, "Due diligence." And so then the next question is like, "So what's due diligence?" Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what makes my diligence do. What's enough diligence? How do I know that I've done my due diligence? It's like, and because I've been watching others and piggybacking on their due diligence, it's helped me understand myself how to be more diligent with my own research and follow the rabbit hole a few links down. Like whenever somebody has like any reference material and that they base their article on, go click the links. Like if there are terms that you don't recognize or jurisdictions that they claim to be registered in, go do your due diligence and look up that business, because like that's how this guy's being manipulated. I guarantee it. He's convinced that this is a legitimate deal because supposedly he's buying from a business instead of an individual. But I guarantee he's not gone and looked up that business name in the state's directory. Like they may be using a fictitious business name that they never even registered. And if they haven't registered it, there's no identity, there's no bank account. And the fact that they're claiming to be a business, but they want a payment in Bitcoin that doesn't have any, like they're wanting a $25,000 payment in Bitcoin, which is like why Bitcoin's used in ransomware and a lot of fraud, because there's no takebacks, and so there's no chargeback risk. If he made the payment and then they didn't deliver on the goods, and he made it through a bank account, then the bank will pull that money back out. But if he makes the payment in Bitcoin, he's shit out of luck. That money's gone. He's never getting it back, and he'll be lucky if he can track it and trace it, because the majority of novices cannot break the certainty of chain analysis. But for those that know how to play this game and are willing to do their due diligence and take a few extra steps and spend a little bit to reacquire their privacy, pseudo-anonymity of our Bitcoin is absolutely possible. You just have to know what you're doing and exercise a little bit of discipline when you're interacting in certain ways. Spend a little bit of your capital to capture some privacy, get your pseudo-anonymity back. This is not something that they don't want to admit, because for all of the novices, it's actually an advantage that they can be tracked and traced, to divert to this detail, because it matters when it comes to these on and off ramps and interacting and interfacing with the legacy realm and keeping our privacy when we get back into our crypto realm. So the interesting story I encountered was how the guy who stole what would now be billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin from Ross Ulbricht, the founder of Silk Road, who got multiple life sentences after this same agent that stole what would be billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin from him got ensnared him and entrapped him into like paying for crimes that like never actually occurred. Like this was an undercover agent that like ensnared Ross into asking this undercover agent to murder his associate who had just stolen all these Bitcoin from him. But at the time he made the request, that employee of his was actually at gunpoint from that undercover agent and had just stolen all those funds and sent them to the undercover agent, who then reached out to Ross through an anonymous forum and said, "What do you want me to do?" Ross is like, "Okay, can you help me with this guy? Do what you have to do." And he never actually like hurt the guy. It was just some like nerd who was terrified, who handed over the keys that he'd been entrusted with by Ross. What ended up happening was this was a less than tech savvy, old school agent who was on the edge of retirement and didn't know what the fuck he was doing in the crypto realm. And he created a wallet that he sent these coins to that was attached to his real name. So he tried to steal all these coins, and he didn't know how to hide it on the back end, but he did know how to hide it in the legacy banking system, because they did manage to go to hide the paperwork and the transaction history through the banking system, because they were government agents. They went to the banks and had the banks erase that data. And it was only because of the incorruptible ledger that was fully transparent and the naivete and ignorance of this government agent that they managed to keep this guy from acquiring billions of dollars while retiring and still getting his pension, because they never would have found him if it wasn't for Bitcoin's transparency and permanence. So what happens is, once we move into the crypto realm from our legacy fiat money, they're tracking and tagging those coins with our identity. When we can do so directly into the Lightning Network is an off-chain private protocol. So the records are not transparent. Like the transaction history, where you spend it, to send it to whom, all of this within the Lightning Network is not visible to on-chain analysis. And it costs next to nothing to move it from one wallet to another. These wallets don't have to be connected to any identity, and you can create an unlimited amount of them. So you can basically, for next to nothing, take this money that had just come out of your bank account and literally in 10 minutes send it to 10 to 15 different Lightning wallets. And it's so far down the line, they're trying, there's not even any record of any of these transactions. And when it comes out the other side, it's so far removed from your original purchase that there's no way that they can prove that you owe any taxes on it, that like you spent it as soon as you got it. And so you sent it to somebody, it was stolen, it was lost. Like this, the proof is not there without the chain analysis. So the way that the recommended protocol for the experts in the realm is to, whenever you take it from your legacy bank account into Bitcoin, you run those Bitcoin through a coin join, where you mix the same amount of coins with a bunch of other people, and then you get back some different coins on the other side of this whirlpool mixer, maybe. There are a couple wallets offering these in a self-custodial manner that can't be stopped and are totally secure. Once they come out the other side of this, then you can turn that into Lightning and send it through multiple Lightning protocol payments, and it's next to impossible to prove with any certainty that which coins are yours at that point. And there's costs to doing these coin joins. There's costs in time, there's costs in money and attention. Whereas if you deal with like Strike, like I'm trying to do and teach you guys how to do right now, there's once it's set up, There's far less cost. It's far faster and far more convenient, and it goes right into the Lightning Network. And I would actually suggest in reverse. So whenever you've accumulated, say, more than $2,500 worth of Lightning Satoshis, maybe withdraw that overflow. Maybe take your balance down to 1,000. Take that 1,500 out, and run that through a coin mixer as well. If you have enough tech skills and assets to protect, you can run your own self-hosted dedicated server as a Raspberry Pi device that only costs a few $100s. For the most high-end version, you can spend nearly 1,000, $850 plus tax, and it comes preloaded with software for Lightning, for Bitcoin, for a payment processor with a built-in backup and physical protections. When you do all of this, you can acquire even more privacy, and you can transact even faster and cheaper by routing your payments through your own node. So a lot of these wallets allow you to use their nodes or to connect your own nodes. So once you make this one-time expense, all you have to pay for is internet access and electricity. So you no longer need to trust these other node providers, and you get a lot more privacy, speed, security for this investment, and you end up supporting the network a little bit more. What this does is you can then buy with your legacy money through Strike your Lightning Satoshis that then you run through your own Lightning wallets, run on your own node, and then you can turn it into Bitcoin, take it on chain and not pay any fees, only pay your transaction fee as you turn it back into Bitcoin on chain, and then you can run it through your own node to mix those Bitcoin. So like at this point, there's so many steps, and it's so far removed from your identity that there's almost no risk of being charged with capital gains or with having a government come after you to steal it later, or for hackers to find and track it. Because it's not just taxes we're trying to avoid. This is a security protocol to protect your privacy, because the wealthy are subject to attack and are made targets by people that don't have wealth. In the neighborhood I live in, there's somebody spray painted on one of the little boxes alongside the road, "Eat the rich." There's this mentality in the world right now that those who've produced wealth and earned wealth don't deserve it. And people that haven't produced any wealth feel entitled to some of the wealth created by people that have actually done something productive in the world. This entitlement and the violence that's coming because of the frustration people feel with watching other people make money hand over fist with their money while they're trading their time, and is buying less every single day. This is creating a lot of frustration, and the wealthy have known themselves for hundreds of years, and it's why they keep these tools for themselves in place to protect their personal financial wealth. Like the obscurity and secrecy is your first level of defense. When it comes to physical wealth, gold or cattle or jewels or art, with enough effort, only secrecy works. Because if people know where the wealth is, enough force can be brought to bear to take it from you, no matter what. You can be overcome over time, even just from a siege where you don't have access to food or water. This has been something that's been historically recognized as a means of protecting not only their wealth, but their physical safety of their loved ones. Security comes from secrecy. Secrecy is your first level of defense. Don't give it up just because they ask for it. That's part of what I found so frustrating with my ex-wife. Just because they said that we were supposed to update the change of address form, she thought she was doing me a favor for complying with these regulations without thought. She should have known better. Couldn't believe it. So you're able to see the screen, correct, Michael? You see these cards here? So these are the links. So I understand Breeze Wallet also has a purchasing option built into it. So we can not only connect our bank account through Strike, but we can also through Breeze Wallet. There's another option here called Liberty X. It's pretty amazing, but it also is KYC. It's kind of like buying your Western Union money order or at the corner store at 7-Eleven or CVS. They don't need an ID. You just like give them 500 cash. They type it in. They charge you a couple of dollars and give you a $500 money order. That's kind of how this works. Only instead of the money order, you get a code that you go type into your Liberty X account, and that gives you that amount of Bitcoin sent to the wallet that's connected with your Liberty X account. And because they're dealing with banks and accepting cash and dealing with Walgreens and CVS, there's lawyers involved and regulatory risks, so they have to get an ID. But once, like I just described, all you have to do is spend a few more dollars, turn it into Lightning, run it through your coin joins, and you've, with a few steps, taken cash and virtualized it. This is not as ideal, but as maybe through the Strike or the Breeze, as far as like speed and convenience. And it doesn't it still doesn't offer any more privacy because you're still doing the KYC with them as well. So even though you're using cash, means it's going to probably be quicker, but maybe not once your accounts have been established. They'll interact pretty quick with Strike, especially. I haven't tested out Breeze yet. I'm going to go ahead and go over some of these other decentralized Bitcoin only wallets for buying our USD, because this is like I'd already described BISC. The BISC here is where you can, on that peer-to-peer network, negotiate your rates with your peers to have them go buy a big bucks store card for you. I used this when Bitcoin was high, near all-time highs a few years ago. I cashed out some of my profits to buy a new tablet for my banking purposes, and I did it I found one I wanted at Walmart. I went on to BISC. I found somebody that would go buy me a $200 Walmart card, so we negotiated the deal. He went to his neighborhood Walmart, gave them $200 in cash. I put up my $170 worth of Bitcoin as deposit in the escrow through BISC, and he gave me the code off the back of the card for Walmart. And when I confirmed that code was able to access the funds and put it into my Walmart app, I installed just for this purpose. Never used it since. I ended up releasing his funds immediately, and I got an extra $30 discount on my $200 purchase because he wanted his Bitcoin privately. So this could have worked for, and can work for, anybody that wants to get access to Bitcoin without an ID, because I never, all I had to go by with this character was his reputation on BISC. Like, I never had his real name. I never had a phone number, address, picture, nothing. So I was able to trust BISC's escrow service to automate all of this. And they charged a small fee. I don't even think it was even 1%. Local coin swap does kind of like a similar sort of thing, as does local cryptos and hodl, but those are more for like buying straight up and selling cash or credit for crypto. They're not so much the option to use the prepaid cards like Walmart and Target, Home Depot, those sort of things. Anywhere I need to spend for, like if I was running a business, I could get through the purse on-chain BTC, all of my purchases that I need to make to run my business, I make through Amazon and buy all those bulk items with an extra 15% off because I spent some of my Bitcoin to do it and allowed somebody to acquire some Bitcoin without handing over their identity, having their pseudo-anonymity of their coins broken. So Paxful is another competitor to BISC that works, and it might have even been Paxful I used instead of BISC when I made that purchase through Walmart. They work on a similar sort of protocol. We're getting into the spending aspect when we're talking about all this. And Fold, I should actually go there. I did want to go into this app today. Can I copy it here? Looks like it'll let me. So I do want to go. I guess I can remember that. Pull it out of my toolbox. I wanted to go ahead and try to go to the Fold site. I was going to go ahead and try to set that up for right now too. Because last I saw, when I looked at it, there's a $31 fee for their lower level card and $150 fee for their higher level card. But they pay anywhere from 10 to 20% back on your purchases. So I just saw Fold had a 24-hour window of like a fire sale that they announced on their Twitter page. Okay. Thought I lost StreamYard for a minute. So the Fold announced on their Twitter page that there was a 20% cash back in Satoshis for any purchase made over that 24-hour period. So if you'd been like waiting to buy a laptop on Amazon, you could have like instantly purchased through Fold and gained it on a $2,000 laptop. You end up with what's it? Was it a full on 20? Yeah, it was just 20. So you'd have got $400 off your $2,000 purchase. Just like if you had been waiting to make it and chose to do it through Fold, you'd have gotten $400 worth of Satoshis back when you made the $2,000 purchase. That didn't last that long, but they have flash sales like that all the time on Fold. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and try to go to Fold app and see how long that'll work before it interrupts our stream here. Okay. Now, okay. I guess it's probably because I have it in view. Where was I? So after I go look over this site some. Oh, wow. I'm getting some rain. That's going to interfere with somebody's plans for today. Doesn't happen often. We're averaging less than 9 inches of rain where I live right now.
Wow.
So it's kind of a big deal when we get moisture.
Yeah.
But this property owner is trying to sell the place out from under me. He was having a photographer supposed to come by here in an hour. It feels like the universe keeps conspiring over and over again to help me keep this place. It feels like it's hopefully going to be locked down for the community soon. I'm excited about gaining all these assets, even though like I'm old enough now, I don't want to use these tools. I'm also old enough to know the value of them, and I don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
That's Yeah, I could tell it was raining because I heard the water coming in from my rainwater catchment system as a biosand filter that it goes through, and whenever it's like running in through there, I hear it dripping downstairs like water's running. I live off grid with like a pressurized water tank and a fixed system, and if like any water was to be left on any faucet, like within like 30 minutes, I could empty my tank and burn out $1,000 water pump. So it's like it's a serious issue. I've learned to keep an ear out at all times for when this whenever the pump kicks on. Luckily makes a little bit of noise.
Yeah.
That's the thing, living in a desert, it'll teach you pay attention to every bit of use.
Yeah.
And I found just being out here in absolute silence, I'm always paying attention for noise, just because I've learned sound. Somebody from like a quarter mile away walk.
I think the download might be
Most of
slow.
my city life had ever been.
I think the download scratching
I
your feed a
believe
little
I
bit.
signed up for. If they won't let me right now, went up to 100%. Other interesting thing about how Fold works here is they kind of gambling.
I'm kind of it's coming through choppy. It's coming through
What I'll
choppy.
turn my off.
Yeah, I'm missing a lot of. I'm only catching bits and chunks.
Maybe that'll help. Can you see? Nope.
Right now, I got just a.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that came. Yep. Yeah, I was looking at this earlier. This was the. I kind of went around in circles on the page, and like, there's a link to download the app, and I bet that through there maybe you could. It says something about get on our invite only beta test.
Yeah, man, I think I've already done that.
Yeah.
So I actually think I probably have, because I remember when I signed up to get in that list that you jump up the list when you share the link and more people sign up to get on the list. You move yourself up the list.
Nice.
So I had a referral link at one point in time. I'm certain of it. But I'll have to look it up again. I've got it somewhere. I probably saved it in my Telegram notes. Tap here to deposit. It looks like I already have it active on my phone.
Oh, cool.
And it's just bank transfer and debit card. I just have to connect them. Yeah, I think I created this, and what I was trying to do, and I found out it broke the system. Because it's just designed out. It'd have been a miracle. I'd have been amazed if it had worked. I was trying to buy the green dot card for $50 at the local grocery store and not create a green dot card. Just use that $50 deposit on the card that hadn't been activated and like registered in my name. But they wanted a name on strike for the card. And all I had was like bank card as the name. So like bank card wasn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to mute myself and come back here in a minute. We've been here for a little while. I need to go use the bathroom.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, buddy. Okay, I'm back. My lap cat's deciding he wants to turn on my lap. I found it really interesting. I'm actually considering it a result of the different upbringing of these cats. I have one outdoor cat and two indoor cats. And the two highly domesticated indoor cats, like they don't have much freedom or control, so they exercise it by refusing to be held. Like I can't pick them up without them squirming. They won't fight me, but they'll just squirm and squirm until I put them down. But this outdoor unneutered wildcat that's like semi-feral, he is a wicked warrior that would tear my ass up if I tried to hold him against his will, and he knows. So, and he spends a lot of his life out in the cold alone, fighting for his life. So when he comes in and can be warm and held and scratched, just like when I pick him up, he'll let me hold him as long as I want to, because he knows he can get down anytime he wants. He let me know the one time it is like a warrior's warning sort of thing. I had my jacket on, so I was okay. I played a little bit rough with him, like house cats will let you do.
Yeah.
And he just stopped and looked at me like, who do you think you're fucking with? And a split second later, like he had jumped and grabbed onto my forearm with all four limbs and teeth, and like I'd have been bleeding in a split second in like 15 places if he had wanted it. Because he has no fear in him. Like he's done, like he knows he can defend himself.
Yeah.
He's not been neutered like these other cats. Like I have no idea. Like I give them raw bacon and they turn their nose up at it. They're like, "What's that?" Like, that's not food. Where's the gravy? It's not processed. But these guys, it's like the outdoor cats. They know food. Like I give them the leftover raw meat, the pork stuff I get from the food banks I don't want to eat myself. Give it to the cat. They're expensive, but they're useful around here. They keep the rats and mice away. They draw in the rattlesnakes. So it's like by having the cats chase away, keep the mice from getting into my barn and my carport, I don't have to worry as much about rattlers out here.
Yeah. Still they know that territory's covered.
Yeah. And these cats kind of chase them away too. It's like they're just like, they recognize the company, they give them attention. The snakes don't want attention and company. So
yeah,
the cats spot them and guard their territory.
Yeah.
I find it interesting, like resonating with this guy is more like the like I said, the backstreet alley cats kind of like how I've always been. I've never been a domesticated house cat. All right, so back to topic here on this withdrawals. I actually kind of think I maybe need to just try to make this work through my phone. I'll let you guys. I'll try to find the link to share with everybody so you can actually join. I think you're right. I'm not seeing any buttons here to actually sign up other than install the app.
Yeah, I went through in circles a couple times, and I never, they kind of like say they reference it one place, like get on our invite only beta wait list is what they said.
I'm sure I've already got it here. Actually, I might not have it on my Android. I have my Apple. Right. I've learned to keep one of each just because like some things work better on Apple and some things work only on Android. That coin mixer wallet that I mentioned is called Samurai, and they have a mobile device, a mobile app that will allow you to with your coins on your own self-hosted node at home. So you can like use your mobile device and like spend your coins that are mixed in your Whirlpool on your node at home. I like the theme. They call it your node is called the Dojo. It's like
nice.
I create all of this. Yeah, it looks like I already have it installed, so I can't working on. And would appreciate any feedback if you or anybody else knows of an app that lets me stream what's happening on my phone to my computer. Maybe I could screen share that directly and not have to try to do with pictures, because I found I have so much daylight. I have the windows on three sides, and my south-facing windows are like wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling.
Yeah.
So I get too much glare off of my mobile devices. Like all you see is the reflection of light off the screen. The camera just doesn't pick up what's on screen at all. So,
right.
I'm gonna go ahead and call this. I think for now we've been going at it for almost 2 hours. I hope I've provided some value to to you here, and there will be more whenever I share these documents with you too to follow these links. And if you have any trouble with any of these things, just touch base. I'll be getting on the Telegram voice chat again tonight in case anybody's there. I'll be available if nobody's on. I'll be at least watching if anybody wants to try to get on at 7 p.m. Mountain Time tonight. So maybe I'll see you then too. And I'll send you that link as soon as I get off here. I'll post the line to get on that wait list for Fold.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would definitely do that. I'm gonna check out that Samurai too. That sounds. I'll put it on a like a device then, like an Android.
Yeah, I like to use it on I have it on my 7-year-old business Android. Like I had a management account for Airbnb I was taking care of. They gave me a phone as part of the company gig, so I got to keep it when I left, and I never put it in my own name, never had it registered in my own name. When I moved on, I just kept it as my dedicated quarantine hardware, like crypto wallet.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good way to do it, like cheap and free and private. When you have enough money, maybe it makes sense to go ahead and anonymously buy a $500 or a $200 wallet. But once you start getting over 1,000, it's maybe worth going ahead and buying a $30 to $50 wallet. But it really depends on your comfort level with your cybersecurity and your tools and your protocols. Once you're comfortable with this stuff, like it's not at all uncommon to have access to like $20,000+ on your cell phone. But you want to set it up so somebody can't just like find your phone and access it. Usually you set it up so you have like 3 passwords and PIN numbers that need to be typed in along the way before those funds can be accessed, if anybody even knows that they're there.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the coppers, like they're learning. they know to look for crypto wallets on your phone. They know to look for hardware wallets. They know what they look like. It's a bearer instrument, so they're gonna seize that the same way they seize cash, and you're gonna end up having to prove where it came from, and proof of wealth is a literal, like, real thing nowadays. It's absurd. What people forget is that financial privacy was pretty much all humanity had ever known throughout all of history until the last 50 years. Right? Even like money laundering. Money laundering did not exist throughout all of human history as a crime until the 1990s. Like, this is a 30-year-old crime with no victim except the police state. It's like,
right.
It's like, I see it like money laundering it's not only not a crime, it's basically like starving the parasite that's preying upon all of humanity. It's like,
trying to make it clean again.
Yeah, it's like starving the beast of their blood that these vampires feed off of in the form of our taxes and our easily seizable legacy bank accounts.
Yeah.
Part of why this system's not going away. People just like, I just had somebody fully indoctrinated as a NASA scientist that's arguing that the U.S. government's going to pull a Turkey. He actually specifically mentioned Turkey. He's like, oh, they just outlawed it in Turkey, and the U.S. is going to be next. And I was like, the U.S. is not yet Turkey and China. That's going to be a tough sell. Like, not only because like it's not like there's this whole like freedom of speech issue we have some protections for here that they don't in China and Turkey. Like, they don't have freedom of speech built into their culture, their legal system. We do. Money has become speech, just like encryption is speech, software is speech. These are protected rights for all of us. They're going to have a really hard time enforcing that. Even if they manage to get it passed, they're going to have to take over the entire legislative and executive and judicial systems, which they're working on. and they're no doubt going to try. But the other problem is, and I found it like Michael Saylor just pointed this out. There's a whole world of difference between 1 million users with $1,000 worth of Bitcoin and one user with 1 billion.
Yeah.
Because like the amount of armor and weaponry and motivation that guy having $1 billion worth of Bitcoin has is way beyond what 1 million people having $1,000 is gonna like. They're not gonna be able to effectively mobilize in a coordinated manner all of the $1 billion worth of assets from 1 million different accounts to protect that $1 billion. Whereas if one person is in control of it all, he's like the admiral of this giant fleet.
Yeah.
Instead of a bunch of individual captains that are all floating around in different places, tacking in different directions with no coordinated defense or attack.
Yeah.
So, and this $1 billion fleet is going to actively be defending its $1 billion valuation. So he's going to these $25 billion companies, like there's more than 25 CEOs of major companies that have over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin right now.
Hmm.
These guys are allies. They're like the superheroes defending the value for the rest of us. So it's like they're defending their $1 billion, defends my $2,000, my $10,000, like, and they kind of like work as our generals defending us in this rebellion against these centralized banking systems. It's something people aren't really grasping. That like we now have like teams of lobbyists protecting Bitcoin. Like, do you imagine that Coinbase doesn't have a bunch of lawyers protecting legislation that could make Coinbase's business model disappear? They just were like Coinbase. I found it like a sign of the times that Coinbase was listed on the New York Stock Exchange with an initial value higher than the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
Which that demonstrates that the market's recognizing that there's more value in crypto than in stocks. Like,
wow.
And it's just like this wave is just starting to break. Like it's not cresting at all yet. There's very little time to paddle yourself up to speed to catch this wave, and that's why I'm trying to use these challenge model in this format framework to communicate and share all this, because I do see this when it scales up. Like there could be 2,000 of us instead of just a couple of us having the same conversation, and it could spread at scale. Just like you musicians, when you have an audience and you have something of value, you could be having the same conversation, same performance, only instead of just for your wives and friends around the campfire in your backyard, you're sharing it with 10,000 of your fans around the world.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to find somebody that's really connected in the Kerrville music scene, the folk festival outside of Austin. That's been going on for 40 years plus. It's the largest folk festival in the world.
Wow.
And they they literally for 14 days have world-class musicians just sitting around jamming around the campfire, and people just like walk around the campfires all night long enjoying all this amazing live world-class music.
Wow.
Somebody could drop a camera and a microphone, and the rest of the world could be paying them while that's happening.
Yeah.
These guys need to find out about this, because the musicians are already you're already practicing, hopefully more than ever now that you've been locked down, because you don't get to go out and travel and spend all that time going to your gigs and scheduling your gigs, and you're not allowed to go to do a lot of things with concerts and traveling. So you have a lot of time to practice. You're doing it anyway. Why not stick a camera on you and let the whole world enjoy it too, and score some sats in the process?
Yeah.
The trick's just teaching everybody how to use all these tools. I was just describing it to one of my clients yesterday. What I've realized is the person most qualified to use a toolbox is the person that created and organized the toolbox. Like a master craftsman, as a general contractor, like I have tools for electricity, I have tools for plumbing and carpentry and cement and and welding. And I could give like this entire toolbox loaded in a truck to somebody, but if they don't know what the tools are for and they don't know how to use them, there's no way they're going to be able, like they're going to look at it and it's just going to be noise. Like, might as well be Japanese. They look at these things going, what's this for? Well, what's this for?
Yeah.
Without somebody to explain what all these tools are and how they can be used and when to use which tool and how to use it so you don't hurt yourself or your materials, like just giving this toolbox to people is not enough to help them like build anything.
Yeah.
As a construction guy, like I've realized that even if I dropped off a truck full of materials and all the blueprints and a fully loaded trailer with all the tools, if somebody'd never built anything before, like none of this is going to help them build a house that's not going to fall down. Like they're going to have somebody walking them through the process, guiding them on all the tools, telling them how not to damage the materials, telling them what order to do things in. And that's where I see the ongoing value in this industry, because people they're already busy, like devoting years of their life to diving deep into this, like I have, is not everybody's going to have the motivation, the interest, the time, the resources I've had to jumpstart this for everybody, because I saw this as a war. Like a battle that was endangering my entire way of life in the cash economy and the freedoms I've enjoyed in the gray economy for 30 years. Like that entire way of life is in danger right now. Like we don't do something in the next few years. Like there's the war on cash is real and it's escalating. And if we don't figure out how to make digital cash work for us, it's going to be used against us as a weapon that humanity's going to like have a very difficult time ever overcoming and getting out from underneath it. It's going to turn into the boot on humanity's face for the rest of most people's lives. It's almost a certainty at this point. They have no other path forward but to do this, like to keep on making money up out of thin air and then use it to control everybody. They pretty much are telling us this is what they're doing if you're paying attention. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and call this and end the meeting. Thanks for your company, attention, time, feedback, all the above. I appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, great session. I got some more notes, and yeah, I'll catch you next time.
Okay. Adios, brother.
All right. Peace.
And for the rest of you, make sure to look in the guides on Facebook and go to the Telegram group. You'll find your homework. You'll find these recordings available on Facebook and YouTube, and I'll post some links on Telegram to the float account once I figure out how to find that stuff. Right. Bye, y'all.